Call the Plan Commission meeting to order. Everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes?
Yes, I will move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved. Discussion and possible action on concept development plans for Minnesota expansion at 3010 Enlow Street, Minnesota Regional Transportation.
So Minnesota is proposing a warehouse expansion at their existing site to propose additional freezer storage space. The addition is proposed on the south side of the building in the rear yard and is planned to be designed so that it matches the existing building. Additional fire truck access with turning areas indicated on the plans and stormwater calculations accommodate the building addition. Also, due to the site being within the business park, it will need to go forward to the St. Cribbins Park Board in order to be approved finally. But that's planned to be happening at next week's meeting, I believe. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the plans with conditions.
Okay.
I'll move to approve with conditions.
I'll second.
Motion is second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved. Discussion and possible action on final development plans and certificate of compliance for Mr. Car Wash at 2251 Badger Drive, CWP West Corp.
All right, so these are the final development plans along with the certificate of compliance application for an automated car wash. The building's planned to include, obviously, the automated car wash, but as well as office space, staff restrooms, and mechanical rooms. The site layout includes 3 pavement drive lanes along with 16 parking stalls, each including kind of a vacuum to allow customers to come and freely vacuum their cars. And there will also be 3 additional parking stalls for staff included in that as well. Staff finds the plans and business operations to be adequately planned, therefore we recommend approval of the final development plans, the certificate of compliance, but the applicant is here tonight in case any of you have any questions about further details.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Noting that that's butting up to the interstate, do we have any other, is our landscaping berm plan, all that, or is that up to the owner of the property or these people to do, to shield it from, I don't know, whatever, noise, sight, whatever it could be, or isn't that any consideration that we should be looking at?
Do you mean does the property owner
Well,
require the berming or do they want it?
It's the backyard.
The backyard,
Backyard.
yeah.
So the business
To the
park,
freeway.
The business park covenants do have some stipulations in there pertaining to berming and landscaping. They don't really necessarily require it though. They just highly encourage is the phrasing.
Well, you'd think it makes sense. You'd want it because of it would enhance your property
Right.
and then enhance that whole area. And that's the only reason I bring it up.
Yep.
So the answer is,
Oh, my apologies. My apologies.
This wouldn't be in the business
This
park.
isn't in the
This was
business
part of
park.
the original Badger Drive expansion
Right.
that they did in, it was before I got here, 2015-ish, 16-ish.
right,
So that's how you got those monument signs, the 3 monument
Yep, I
signs out
remember
there,
that.
all that. So they condo that, so all the site grading things were done prior to, so this site, there wouldn't be any buffering requirements specific to the area along the interstate, no.
There is none now.
okay. Well, I don't care because that's up to them, but you would think it would make sense. Okay. Thank you.
I'll move we approve with conditions.
Second.
Got a motion second to approve with conditions. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on a certificate of compliance for Mid-Current Church at 201st Street, Mid-Current Church.
All right, so Mid-Current Church is looking to operate a church congregation at 201st Street within the River City Center's lower level. Proposed tenant space would be approximately 11,184 square feet and would require some internal renovation work to be done on the building, including adding an auditorium, office conference room, a lobby, 4 classrooms, restrooms, and storage space. The applicant provided a narrative that states the church congregation currently hosts up to 200 adults. and 100 kids every Sunday morning. And recent worship attendance has averaged about 93 adults and 42 kids. So the new proposed facility would provide a location to hold Sunday morning worship and would be used throughout the week for staff gatherings and programs. Now, in regards to parking, River City Center parking lot contains a total of 214 stalls, of which the applicant estimates current attendance levels would utilize 50 to 60 of those parking spaces. The applicant also stated that Sunday morning services would be held when a majority of the other retail building tenants are closed, or at reduced numbers at least. So with that, the certificate of compliance is, if it were to be approved, we just wanted to forewarn you guys that by our estimations, we would expect about 56 to 84 vehicles to come, just because of our estimate kind of calculates it based on average household size, which was like 2.37 persons according to the Census Bureau. And we also kind of took into account as well the proposed congregation of about 135 to 300 people to account for extra as well as less.
When you give the parking places for that, you're looking at up above though, not down below and behind where the access to this would be down on the riverfront, correct? So in
No,
other words,
it's-
they'd want to be parking down off of First Street.
No, this would be everything on site at River City Center, so everything in the front.
Yeah,
of
but
building.
The access to that building is on the river side.
Yeah.
To that suite, yes.
So if you were going to park your car, you'd want to be closest to the door, right?
Correct, you would want to be on.
So you'd
the
be
river.
down on First Street, right?
Correct.
And we don't want them in the boat launch parking lot, because that's already full,
That's a
even on
bad
Sunday
spot,
mornings.
Even on Sunday morning.
But if you look
Well,
on
you
their
have to have a
map,
trailer to be in the,
In the launch.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
look, if you look on their map on the corner to the south, there's, Mike, how many parking spots?
So Mike Leverty, so.
Mike, if you would, come up to the front bench, what table?
Parking's an issue, why we have to bring it up.
So Mike Leverty, 19 Brookmose Park. So I serve as a finance committee chair for Midcurrent Church. And then also am a partner in the River City Center. So Pastor Stan Carlson's also here, and then Dan Burnham, who's the architect. So we had submitted an overlay of the parking of River City Center. So the highlighted area is the space that River City, or that Midcurrent would occupy. And in the back, when we did the remodel on River City Center, we added 48 parking stalls that used to be loading dock.
Okay.
So there's 48 parking stalls in the back of River City Center, in the back and in the south. And then River City Center also had transferred 25 parking stalls from River City Center property to the city that now is on the east side of First Street. So between the 48 stalls in the back, the 25 stalls that were exchanged on First Street, that's more than enough parking. And then we also have 169 stalls in the front. So our thought process is volunteers, staff, we would park in the front, and then we'd still have 75 stalls in the back of the building to accommodate the church.
Great.
So we
Yeah,
feel confident that we
sounds
have
like you
plenty of
got it dialed in.
parking.
Well,
without
you've
the
looked
city.
at it then, obviously.
We have looked at it, yeah. And, representing Midcurrent and River City Center, I mean, we certainly want to make sure the members of the church have adequate parking.
Yeah.
So we drove down there, 9 o'clock Sunday morning, and from Buckeye down First Street, I mean, there's less than a handful of cars parked. So it's an ideal time where the church is occupying the space when there's no other tenants.
One other question for you then at this
Yep.
point. What is your length of tenure, do you think, in a place like that? Is this isn't a permanent thing?
Well, we don't know at this point. We're looking at a
understand that.
7-year lease at this time.
7
Yeah,
years?
5 to 7 year lease. Right. And, things certainly change, but it certainly will be a great 5 to 7 year home.
Well, why would you spend that money on improvements unless you're
Exactly.
going to be there for a little bit? I
Right.
get it, but
Yep.
I just, thinking if you were to grow,
Right.
that keeps changing things, so,
Yep, you bet.
okay, thank you.
Any thoughts of services or programming during the week?
Yeah. Now I can certainly comment, Pastor Stan can comment more, but prior to COVID, there was 2 services. So there's an earlier and a little later. Right now, there's a 10:30. So the numbers that Tiffany had commented on is that's the current occupancy during the one service. So, ideally, we do go back to 2 services, which wouldn't add double the cars at the same time, basically to have the same amount of cars, but
waves.
earlier Sunday morning.
The second wave.
So really, that gives us capacity to double, basically, membership without adding any additional parking downtown Hudson.
Right.
So,
Okay. Thank
yeah.
you.
Does that answer it?
But just the question about programming or anything going on during the week?
Yeah, so, there's certain, the space is built out for a conference room. I mean, Mid-Current does a phenomenal job with kids' programs. I mean, we envision, there's a teen program in place. We envision, moms groups, stuff like that. But it certainly wouldn't be more than 10, 15 cars during the week. So, yeah.
I will move for approval with conditions.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and second for approval. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on a certificate of compliance review for 725 8th Street home occupation license, Lori Schutte.
So, back when, in January 2021 of this year, Lori Schutte had her home occupation license approved by the council. Now we're back again with a 6-month review, sort of, because council kind of added that as a condition of approval for it. So we're here again to kind of review, check in, make sure things are going smoothly and that residents in the neighboring area are fine with everything as it is. And
The neighbors requested it more or less, and
pretty much, yeah.
so we wanted to,
We wanted to make
show our
sure and
concern.
accommodate that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Have
So-
you heard any negatives from the neighbors?
No, and city staff did send out a mailing to adjacent property owners, and we didn't hear anything back, either phone calls, emails, or letters back
And
to us.
and the trigger for us to hear about it then would be any complaints? In other words, if anybody called up and complained, we would then hear about it going forward?
Yeah, and I did too speak with Lori, who is here tonight, and she did say like she hasn't heard anything either from any of her neighbors.
But I mean, on any of them, if we hear anything bad on any
Oh, yeah.
of these types of.
Yeah, then we
in-home
would bring it back.
Okay.
Yep.
things, then I'm good with it.
Yeah.
What's the extension on it? What?
Yeah, how long?
We're going to 5 years, I think, on them. Haven't we been?
Do we want to bring it back in 5 years?
Well, I
Review?
thought that's what we were doing,
Yeah.
but if you want to make it indefinite.
Otherwise, what we were recommending was
If there's
no
an issue
further
that comes
no
up,
further review. But if there's any issues, then
We always reserve that right to bring it back as needed.
Okay, that's fine then. I'll move for approval with, with open-ended review going forward.
Second it.
Got a motion and second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on recommending the Common Council set a public hearing date for a zoning map amendment application from PUB, public to OFC office, and a comprehensive plan amendment from institutional to neighborhood commercial at tax parcel 236-1974-51-000, St. Croix Valley Professionals.
So as is standard for zoning map amendments, we always have you guys come back to set or recommend to council set a public hearing date, and that's pretty much what this item is. What they're looking to do with this property is essentially merge it with the property next to it, but they can't do that with the current zoning as it is. So that's why they want to change it to office from the public zoning that it is right now.
Move to set public hearing.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on a downtown design review certificate for 403 Vine Street, Mark Photography.
So Mark Photography is looking to add one additional sign to their wall signage on the front facade of the building at 403 Vine. Unfortunately, I noticed that in the packet, the picture for the map overall area did not show up, so I kind of included in your packets here tonight the actual map itself. So you can see the surrounding area is in fact residential. So with that, staff is recommending with a condition of approval stating that the sign installer has to make sure that the lights can be dimmed at night or even turned off entirely to accommodate the neighbors across the street.
So this is a second, because the other sign's over here, so this is a second sign?
It's a second sign. But all of it does still meet the 10% limitation requirement as listed in code, so,
Same business, second sign.
yep.
Are you looking to take that peak out above?
That's Frank's house.
Burn it.
Do any of the neighbors object?
Not that we've heard,
Oh, have you asked any?
no.
For downtown design review, we don't mail notice on those.
Was there a timer on this sign, or don't we know?
He said that. That's part
we
of the
do not
timer
know.
and the dimmer. It says it in the things.
On the install.
Did what?
There's a timer on it.
Is the other one controlled by a timer now?
Yes. And a dimmer, so she can control how bright it is. And when it turns off completely.
What message are you trying to send on that? That makes me think of Las Vegas. When I see Marry Me, I'm thinking, okay, you're gonna have drive-through weddings here.
We've had a lot of fun with that in our office, because it's like, no.
Well, I
this is
mean,
like,
we don't want that in a residential neighborhood, though, is I guess my point. I mean, yeah, I can see how it's fun, but is that right for a residential neighborhood?
Well, that's what her business is she does, she calls
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that too, but Marry Me in a residential neighborhood as a neon sign? This isn't Las Vegas. I guess I'm just giving you point counterpoint here.
It's her marketing. It's her marketing. I mean, if she can get more business off of it, so be it. As long as it's not offending anybody in the area. Don't you think?
That's the way I look at it.
That's probably the fairest way of saying it.
We don't have anything that calls for anything different in terms of design, style, or size. They're already meeting what we have.
Okay. Well, then,
Yep.
I had to bring it up,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I do
That's fair.
feel that way a little bit on the content, and so, I mean, if the neighbors are okay with it, so am I.
I don't know if the neighbors have been brought
They don't know about it.
into it.
So as a neighbor, you know your neighborhood, what do you think?
I don't see it.
Yeah.
What the people across the street do.
People across the street do. Right.
Well, let's approve it for a 6-month period and have it come back. If there's some complaints, we'll go from there.
Bring it back only if there's complaints, or.
Well, I think we need to mail out something to the neighbors. We need to show them what's going on. I mean, otherwise they're gonna say, hey, you pulled this slick willy on us, and, we don't want, I don't think we are, but in the same breath, we didn't inform them. So as a matter of courtesy, I would like to inform the neighbors, if possible.
I feel like it'd probably be best addressed in a code amendment, text amendment in the code. Because, I think of this moving forward, let's say on every downtown sign, we don't currently require per code notification of neighbors.
Right.
So if we want to go this route, I think it might be most appropriate to consider an amendment to the code that says any proposed signage in the B3 district that's within, directly adjacent to a residentially zoned property, that we would require, a mailing notification or a
I agree
10,
with
15
you.
day.
That would be the way to ultimately.
Are we getting into something?
So moved.
where We're
I don't want to apply it.
controlling content?
No, it wouldn't be
No.
content. It
It's
would,
it's giving the neighbors a chance.
it would be any
to-
illuminated sign, I would say, right?
Yeah.
So that would take council action.
That would take council action, correct?
Did you want to postpone this until then, or do you want to deal with this now and then?
Can you live with a 6-month or a year review from neighbors?
To get it approved,
Yeah.
she was hoping to have it installed in October.
Yeah, my point is, and then it's up for 6 months and it comes up for review. If there's been a lot of complaints, then we'd have to deal with it. If there hasn't been any complaints, it stays.
It goes.
I
think-
apologize,
I
I
think-
missed your name and who you're with.
I'm Jason Meyer with Quality Sign Solutions.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
If it helps to add, the first sign that we did, the mark photography sign, the larger one, I don't believe we did correct me if I'm wrong, Tiffany, I don't believe we did the neighbor notification. There was, after we put that sign up, there was one neighbor, full disclosure, that came over and talked to her, said that was pretty bright in their living room window. She went outside with her remote, turned it down, guy was happy. I don't know who that was, I can't.
Yeah.
I do,
Yeah.
but,
So
yeah.
she's very neighborly.
Yep.
So with that,
Yeah.
I think that she would be very amenable to whatever it takes to,
Well, it's a matter of courtesy. This is what's going on in your neighborhood.
sure.
You only have two houses over there
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that sign
Like
would
directly across the
affect.
street.
Right.
So I'd
Would be
move
nice if they
approval,
both.
I'd move for approval with review after a year if there have been complaints brought forward about it.
You want to wait a year?
6 months.
6 months, good enough?
I wouldn't go over
Mike?
6.
6
Yeah,
months
I
then?
think that's fine, and then for moreover, do you want to direct staff to look at a code?
Yes.
Yes.
Code amendment? Okay.
So 6 months?
And then I'll second that with the 6-month review, and then addressing it with the city council, whatever you gotta do to have that as a change.
Okay. All right, everybody understand the motion? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on a downtown design review certificate for Edina Realty, 400 2nd Street South, Suite 130.
So this one's pretty short and sweet. Edina Realty is just replacing an existing wall sign on the frontage. The new sign's only going to be about 0.38 square feet larger than the current existing one, so it does still meet the 10% wall limitation. And it'll continue to be an internally lit, channel lettered sign
It
as
will
well.
not be internally lit?
No, it will. It will be, as is
Is-
the existing one.
As is the existing.
Move to approve?
Second?
Motion second to approve. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. I don't have anything. Anybody?
I just have a couple of reminder notes
Okay.
for communication staff. So the comprehensive plan open house is set in stone and scheduled for Wednesday, September 22nd, between 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. At the new fire hall right here. So come one, come all. And then also, as a reminder too, the Plan Commission's special meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 28th at 6 p.m. to discuss the comprehensive plan in more detail and potentially approve it by resolution that night as well. But that meeting is planned to also be here at the fire hall too.
So are you providing hard copies, or how are we going to review that? I know last time I asked, I got a big resounding, no, we're not doing hard copies.
It's a big document. I mean, we can print some, if you want a printed copy to review, I mean, it is available
175
online.
pages.
How many?
173, I saw.
Being one who requested one because I was down, had no computer for a period of time and just my phone and the inability to really do that, I wish I had known it had been more specific. There's a lot of the addendums that really aren't needed in gaining a gist of what the whole thing is saying and reading. And if I did need to see one of those addendums, I could go, or an example, I could go online and look at it now. So my only recommendation would be parse it back if somebody requests it
Okay.
in hard copy, that there's stuff you don't need.
You mean like don't include the appendices?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do have a hard copy available for people to look at.
Sure.
at City Hall, full
Yeah.
version, as well as the library.
And as well as online.
Yeah, we
I
got-
went online and read it, and I thought it was 173 pages long.
Yeah, it's big.
I mean,
The
we
tome.
used to get hard copies, and then when it was all approved, we each got hard copies, so.
We'll give a hard copy when it's all approved,
Right, but I mean,
absolutely.
in order to be prepared for the meeting, it's just,
It wasn't quite of this scope, though. I mean, the last one wasn't this
In other
big.
words, Mary Claire wants a hard copy.
Oh, no, it's
Yeah.
nice to have it. I like it too.
Yeah.
Let me-
if you
let
want
me
people to
know.
review it before,
Right.
Let me know, yeah.
I request one, thank you.
Okay.
I move to adjourn.
Just
Second.
gonna call on you, Fred.
You don't have to wait too long.
Motion second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.